Hi, my name is Olivier. I'm a software developer at Ordigraphe, and I'm here today to talk about data management for unstructured data. For the past 2 years, I've been working on DataIntell and analytics and data management solution. Before talking about data management, I will tell you why at Ordigraphe we decided to build our own solution. We are an integrator in media and in entertainment for the past 35 years. From an external view, we understand the workflow in the business and we see what organizations face in their day-to-day. Most of our clients are in post-production field and VFX, and from what we saw from them is their infrastructure keeps growing and it's getting harder to manage all this data. Most of them have multi-vendor storage split on different tiers, and when their storage reach a capacity and they have to move data from there, they don't have a global view of their data. They don't know how much data has not been accessed in the last year or how many files are just duplicate. They don't even know sometimes where files are located in the infrastructure. In Montreal, there's a place where they hired a lot of freelancers to work on their project. Those peoples usually create multiple copies of files or multiple versions of their project. And the archiving team there told me that when they have to archive a project, most of the time they will just archive everything because it's a lot easier than cleaning up those projects. They know that their storage 30 to 40% bigger than it's supposed to, but the cost of cleaning up is more expensive than the cost of archiving. And the reason why the cost is more expensive is because they don't have any tools to solve that problem. In the VFX company, in 1 week, 200 terabytes of data could be generated. And it's something that could, and the people that manage this data don't know what was created and where it was created. We start seeing from vendors some solution to know what's the CPU load, what's the disk L check of their system, or what the file system L check is with those kind of dashboard like you can see here. Those dashboards will give you a lot of information, but it won't give you an overall view of your data. It's just something that will target specific vendor storage, and it's mostly operation information. Those dashboards are very important for IT people, and it's not something data management should solve. There's also media asset management. Those applications are really great to do automation on asset, transcoding, generate proxy, and they work really well with structured data. The workflow around the files are really well managed from ingest to archive. But an asset management solution needs some efforts to be integrated in the workflows, and it won't manage all the files and all the infrastructure. A data management solution should be agnostic of the infrastructure. It's something that is in between solution vendors and media asset management, and it should give you a global view of all your data. It works really well on unstructured data and gives you analytics and trending of your data. You see that I keep repeating the word data, and the reason why I keep repeating this word is because from our perspective, data is the most important thing for an organization. At Ordigraphe, we know that solution exists to get data management solution like that. From what we saw, they are missing some feature, and their price range is mostly targeting big area like California or New York. So we have a vision about project because we know that when people are working on project, content may be split on different folders and different volume in storage. And currently, there's no easy way to know how much space a project takes or for how long it has been there. With DataIntell, there's a way to centralize this information and follow usage based on space allocation. With data federation, we are able to create virtual projects that will look at the different folders and give you a global view of all the data. Another important aspect of project is space allocation. We think organizations should put a number on the space allocation of their project because there's a cost of keeping this data in the storage for a long period of time. The space allocation won't block any user to work on their project, but it's something that will help them track the project and understand the actual needs. Let's see this vision in the application. So when we're in the project, we can see all the project here, or I can just quickly create a new project. I give a name to my project, a description, and I specify an allocated size. The goal is to put all the folders related to that project. I can add them manually, just like that. Or I can search for repository with that name and quickly add all those folders. Just like that, we create a new project. If we go in a detailed view of a project, the first thing you see is the use space. This information is based on the actual size of a project and the allocated space. And the chart represents the same information here. We can see useful information like the number of files or the last access date or last modified date of a project. Below, we have an overall view of all the folders that were configured for that project. You can see that we have path on the SAN here, some on the NAS, and for all those paths, we can see analytics like the duplicate data that those paths has, or the last access data. So for this example here, I can see that there's data that has not been accessed in more than a year. Project is really an easy way to follow your project and understand what are your actual needs. Now, let's see the search. The search is an easy way to search files. So I can just start by typing some keywords, and it will give me a result based on metadata. So the name, extension, path. We can also use filter to search files. So I can look for files that are located on my SAN and has a minimum size of 10 megabytes and a maximum size of 10 megabytes. So quickly I can get result with the number of files there is on the SAN because I apply this filter and the actual size it takes. From there I can download the result as a CSV file and send that as an Excel file to anybody that they can take action on. This is a traditional way to search files, but we think that analytics give more power to search files. So this way, you can filter with the analytics. Those are the same charts that you saw on the dashboard. And for example here, I can filter on the most active volume by just clicking on, okay, let's see only the MP4 files. Everything is updated here and the filter is applied at the top. And I can go deeper and say, give me the file that were created in December. Just like that, I have a result and I can see that in the file listing. And again, from there, I can download the result or search for keyword. You can see that it's really easy to find any files. Everything in the application is tied together. If you go back in the dashboard, any charts has a link to a more detailed view. For example, if I click on the file that were not accessed in 6 months, just like that, I can get result in the file search. If we take a look at actual use case where, for example, one of your volume reached 95% of its capacity, you want to understand what's happening and what can be moved quickly. So you can go and click on the volume. You're directly in the file management. From there, you can get analytics and analyze the data and where the data grow. Another way we could do that is just by targeting duplicate files and filtering on the specific volume that we want to target. So you can see that I can quickly get information with that kind of application. In a project perspective, if one of my project reach is allocated space, I can go take a look at the project and maybe change the allocated space. Or I could take a look at different path here and, for example, I can get the analytics about this folder just like that, or get all the files that were not accessed between 1 month and 3 months, just like that. So you can see that it's a really easy to use application and it's easy to understand what's in your storage. We faced a lot of challenges to build that kind of application. The first one we face is the speed of the scan. Scanning millions or even billion files could take hours. We found some solution to solve that problem by using multiple servers to scan the infrastructure, or just indexing data that has changed since the last scan. But we all know that data move really fast and it will always keep growing. So we think we need to find a new solution. We could go with integration with vendors API to get fast feedback. This way, we won't need to scan volumes to get data. We would just use the API to get changes. Another challenge, yeah.
What vendors do you work with? Softball.
Yeah, we're trying to work with Quantum. We start looking at some API.
Real softball. Sorry.
Another challenge that we face is being able to show the right data at the right time. With this amount of data, the different user using the application and the different moment in time, it's hard to figure out what data should the user see. Every place that use the application has their own challenges with data management. An example of that is alerts. When the volume reach, for example, 90% of its capacity, yes, we can send an alert to the user telling this volume has reached 90% of its capacity and there's still 10 terabytes of data available. But we have a lot of data that we could use to help the person receiving this alert. We can tell the person what was the data, what was the last data that was added in your infrastructure, or even suggest to move data based on last access date. If a folder has 20 terabytes of data and it has not been touched in more than a year, maybe they should start by moving this data out to clean up some space. For the future of the application, we see a lot of potential. The first one we see is integrations. Like I said before, integrating with storage vendor will help get fast feedback on your data. But also being able to integrate with backup and archive solution will give information about what's in the archive, what data on my storage is actually somewhere else in my infrastructure. This way, in case of emergency, I can quickly delete those files because I know there is a copy somewhere else. Cloud provider is also something that we're looking at because most of people right now are using cloud as another way of storing data, but there's no way to have a global view of all this data. We could know information like how much storage is in the cloud, how often is it used, and for how long it has been there. We see also potential with media asset management because we could use those applications to do automation or get file preview so we can understand what's the actual content of a file. Another field that we're interested is machine learning. And I'm not saying that because it's a big buzzword in the last years. I'm saying that because machine learning works best when there's a lot of data. And it's exactly the case with DataIntell. We collect data every day about all the files in your infrastructure. We've been doing experimentation for the last 6 months with our own application Currently, it's only working in our labs, but we're doing tests like predict if a file will be deleted in the next month. Those kind of experimentation takes time and requires a lot of experimentation. That's why it's only a research and development project for the moment. We see also other potential, like suggest people to move data based on usage, or predict when you need new infrastructure, when you need to change your infrastructure needs. Machine learning could even help us solve some challenge that we face. In a case where you just get information about folder usage, we can just scan repository that has a lot of usage, and it will limit the resource needed to scan the infrastructure. Having an intelligent scanner that knows what to scan and when to scan will be the most efficient way to scan the infrastructure. It can also help to find the best data to show to users, because, for example, if a project reach is allocated space based on, for example, project version, it could suggest user you could delete or move those older versions because they're not used anymore. Machine learning will be a very important feature for data management solution, and it's something we're focusing on right now. A data management solution will help organization be more proactive than reactive. It will help plan infrastructure needs, and it's a great tool when there's an emergency. For example, if a volume reached 95% of its capacity, you can quickly get information of what's my data on my storage and what can be moved quickly. Data management solution should be used by more than just IT people. It should be used by management to have an overall view of their data, or by project management to see trendings on their projects. We also see that a lot of people are using DataIntell to just find files because it's a lot faster than using the finders or the file explorer. Data is one of the most important things for organization, and having a tool to understand this data will be critical in the near future. Thank you.